my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds and sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome everybody. I have some music playing in the background and I'm not sure where that's coming from. All right, that was an odd little delay. At any rate, I'm glad that you're here tonight and I'm really excited about our guest. Bear with me 1 second because I am getting some feedback that I don't know where it's coming from. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Here, look at this picture of a tractor for a moment. And just a moment. Yeah, take a look at that picture of the tractor. I need a technical difficulty slate to come up or something. At any rate, I had to unplug my headphones. I was getting this terrible feedback. First time that ever happened. It's still happening. Very strange. All right, hold on. This is awful. This is the worst. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. All right, I see M plus J. First one's here. Glad to see you. Tommy Productions is here. Thanks very much. Chesapeake Cruiser, Purple Collar Life. Welcome, my friend. I'm looking through. We've got plenty of comments coming in. And I'm going to now... I don't know how this is going to work. So, I'm thrown off tonight a little bit. Can you guys hear me okay? Is everything good? Tommy says sounds perfect. So that's good to hear. Appreciate that. All right. I don't know. I may have to jump back off and on again. First time ever that this would happen. Good evening, Duo 4 Patriot. Howdy, Mike. Stubble Jumper. Thanks for saying it's good. Appreciate it. Excellent. And there's Margaret, who won the prize stickers last week, and she got them in the mail, so that's good to hear. All right, let's see now. Remember that if you like the show at any point tonight, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out quite a bit. And tonight's show, of course, we've got Tractor Mike coming on. I'm really excited about this. I've been talking about Tractor Mike coming on for the last few live streams. I hope you checked out his channel. But we are really excited to have him on here. And get your questions ready. It's going to be fun. A couple fun facts. Today's March 29th. And Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, was born on March 29th, 1918. He died in 1992. Did you know that Lamborghini... the first vehicles they made were tractors, and they still make tractors today, apparently. Mike probably knows this. We can ask him about it. But Lamborghini, tractor company. How about that? Very interesting. All right, let me go back here to the comments. Oh, Tommy Productions bought a T-shirt from the channel. Thanks very much. You can go to shopmcg.com, and we've got the merch available. Nice and fun. All right, so I'm going to get ready to bring Mike on here because we don't want to waste a lot of time tonight. I know a lot of times I joke around and show some fun facts, but we've already got quite a few people watching, and I don't want to hold Mike up. So I'm seeing a little glitching in the background. You seeing that, Mike? Was that all right? Okay. Mike's in the green room waiting to come out, and I saw his camera doing some glitching going on there in the background. I've still got to figure out this audio problem. I don't know what I'm going to do with it just yet, but I'm going to bring Mike on first. That way, if I have to jump out and come back in, then maybe he can hold the show going there. So let me tell you a little bit about Tractor Mike, who also runs the website AskTractorMike.com. But the Tractor Mike YouTube channel has 73,000 subscribers, 367 uploads, and over 16.5 million video views. It's a library of incredible knowledge about all things tractor and implement related. So that's very exciting. Before we bring Mike on, as I've done in the past, I'd like to show a little preview of our guest. Take some clips from their YouTube channel and piece them together. So take a look at a little bit about Mike, and then we'll bring him on to the show.
Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Hey, this is Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Hi, this is Mike with AskTractorMike.com on an absolutely miserable day in the Ozarks. Today I'm going to show you a trick. Today's video is going to be about options, and I want it to be kind of a forum. I have a letter today from a viewer that is really frustrated. What extendable lower link arms enable you to do is lift the latch, and you can extend the lower link arms out to make hooking up the implement easier. This is the best system, but people all the time are complaining about having to hook this system up under pressure. So what do? But we're first going to check the torque on the wheel bolts. And you need to do this often on a tractor because with all the vibration on a tractor, your wheel bolts can actually come loose over time. The total number of tractors sold last year was 197,000. That's just in the United States. That's tractors under 40 horsepower. And that's compared to 163 in 2019. Hey, I survive on web traffic. I'd be honored if you'd share this video with other tractor enthusiasts and like my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And hey, if you got questions or comments, put them down below. We'll try to get back with you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.
Welcome, Tractor Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I was crying. I wept. That was nice job, Ed. Thank you.
Nice. That was all your work.
Oh, yeah.
All your work summed up into just a few moments.
Yeah, I realized I need to clean my lens occasionally.
Well, you know, we're out there in the dirt sometimes, and my camera's been abused several times. Well, I'm glad to have you here. I figured out what my audio echo was while that was playing, so I was able to kill that. So I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the show like that. But I'm going to bring you on screen, Mike. There we go. And while you're there saying hello, I'm going to plug in.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. Sorry, I'm just not.
Do I need to do a song while
I'm just not on camera while I'm plugging all this stuff in.
Okay.
I may have to edit this live stream.
Hey, you got a super sticker from Cool Restorations. Thank you,
Nice.
Cool Restorations.
Awesome. Cool Restorations. We've been kind of following each other for quite a while, and he's got a great channel going on there. He restores, lots of things, tools and old toys and things like that. So that's a fun channel to watch. So if you get a chance, check out Cool Restorations. Thank you for the super sticker. I really do appreciate that. So we're back. I can hear you now, and I think we're okay. So anyway, I am honestly thrilled you're here. Like I said, I've been telling folks about this live stream over the past several live streams, asking them to get their questions ready. I love your channel, Mike, because a lot of the channels that I follow, and mine included, you know, I have a Kubota tractor, so my content is really focused on the Kubota tractor that I have. But you're in a different position. You were manager of a farm equipment store, from what I understand, sales and manager.
Yes.
So you seem to have no tractor or equipment bias. At least you don't show it on your channel, not that I've seen. You really talk about all things, all tractors, all implements, and that's really, really handy. Am I right about that, or do you have a bias that we just don't know about?
Oh, you know, I've got some loyalty because I worked for AGCO for 10 years, and that's Massey, and so I've got some loyalty to that product. And then I worked at a New Holland dealership for 11 years, managed it, and we sold Coyote too. So, you get a little bias because of what you're familiar with. But, to me, the quality of the compact tractor offering in North America right now is really good. And I don't know a company that doesn't make a tractor that if I had to have their tractor, I wouldn't be really happy with it. So I try to be brand neutral just because that's just not, I'm not trying to, my main thing I tell people, especially if you're new to tractors, and I think this is the most important thing in the buying process. If you don't understand tractors, find a dealership that you trust, that's going to be around and that you kind of click with, and buy what they've got. Because, if I was going to buy a helicopter and I don't know anything about a helicopter, I'd want somebody there that's going to understand what I'm doing and help me with my needs and all that. And so I think that's why I'm pretty much brand neutral, is because I think there's lots of good tractors out there, and you need a dealer to kind of get you started.
Great points. And we've got some comments coming in, some very kind compliments of the Tractor Mike YouTube channel. So Endurance V8, doesn't matter which color tractor, Creek Life Outdoors, they enjoy your content very much.
Thank you.
K&H has some AGCO equipment. How about that? So that's great. So I learned something else about you recently. Not only are you I don't know if we'd call you a retired tractor manager sales. I guess retired might be the word, or former, whatever it is. But you're also Professor Mike, from what I understand. You teach at the Missouri State University College of Agriculture.
Yeah. When I got toward the tail end of my career, I always said to myself, I want to give back a little bit to the community. And always had wanted to teach, and the only thing I really know is agricultural sales. And I like the sales world. A lot of folks have a real negative impression of salespeople, and I've been privileged to work with some really good ethical salespeople over my career. And I had told the head of the agriculture department, and I'm here at the university right now because they've got good internet service and I don't. And I'm in a classroom that if happens to be a class here that I don't know about, I may be leaving abruptly with the computer, but we hope that doesn't happen. But I always said I'm going to try to do something toward the tail end of my career to give back. And I told the head of the agriculture department, who is an old friend of mine. In fact, I took his classes. I mean, he was been around a long time. And I said, if you ever need somebody to teach ag sales, I'd be willing. And they had a guy that was doing it. And right about the time I quit the dealership, he got a bad illness, brain cancer, and died. And I got a call. I mean, it happened just right as I was getting out of the dealership world. And they said, would you mind to come in and teach? And I'm like, oh, I'd love to. It's bad circumstance, but
yeah, that's unfortunate.
And I started that in 2015. So I've every semester twice a year, I have 30 kids that I try to influence to be ethical salespeople and try to teach them. I'm not real smart. There's not a lot I came up with on my own, but what I am is a great listener. And I found salespeople that really knew what they were doing over my career, and I've latched on to every word they've said, and I've stolen their ideas and so on. So that's what I teach, is what I've learned from great salespeople.
That's great, because we don't always hear the word ethics and sales in the same sentence, and we should. I mean, it's not. It's unfortunate that I guess some people have ruined the reputation for sales, because there's no reason that it's not a good, solid business. I mean, we all buy things, and we want to buy from honest, ethical people. So I love that you introduced that into your course.
There are so many ways you can get in trouble in the sales world and compromise your ethics. And I try to teach that to the kids and just hammer them. It takes an entire career to build up a reputation as somebody that'll treat you right, and about 2 minutes to blow that.
That's right.
And I've had kids in my class that after teaching all this about ethics, that cheated on the final or did something that they shouldn't have done, and
Right.
I let them know pretty quickly that's not the way
Yeah.
the world works.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is character is legacy. So,
Mhm.
that's how you're going to be remembered forever is by your character.
Yep.
So that's great. Yeah. So 6D Ranch, they have an example here that they have a local dealer, but they drove further to buy the same tractor from a dealer that they were more comfortable with. And that's, it's nice to buy local when you can. I'm fortunate that I have a dealer very close by and did a good job with me. But if you're not happy with that local dealer, then I guess you should go somewhere where you really feel good about the sales and service that you're going to get.
Yeah, an hour is not that big a distance when you think about it. I mean, if you live in Colorado or Wyoming, you don't, a local dealer would be 3 hours away or something like that. There's lots of areas of the country where the local dealer is a lot further away than an hour. So that's
Right.
not too bad a deal.
Right. There's here we go from Endurance V8 thanking you for your 20 items checklist. Now, are they referring to a video that you put out? I know you wrote an ebook as well.
Yeah, I've done a couple of checklists. Trying to remember which one the 20 one is. I've done one. I think the 20 checklist. There's certain things you need to do every year before you use your tractor, and I think that was the 21. Gosh, I've got to go back and look at my own stuff. And then there's 10 things to do to your brush hog before you use it. I've done a lot of those and put it in a checklist form. That's in your owner's manual probably,
Right.
but a lot of these owner's manuals, I don't know who writes them, but they're 27 pages of safety stuff that nobody reads, and then you get into the meat of it, and sometimes they're written by an engineer or a
Right.
technical writer, and they're over a lot of people's heads, mine included. So I try to make it simple. So
And they're spread out throughout the manual. So what you're doing is you're creating a nice list where maybe you can find this in your manual, but it's not going to be in that nice list form. You got to kind of search for it and check maintenance intervals and whatnot. Even my most popular video was about a loader function where you have the quick dump and then you move the loader stick to the right and it's a little slower dump. I didn't know about that. I went back to the manual and still had a hard time finding it. It was in there, but it was just a little, basically R1 and R2, but really didn't explain it much. So it was something I learned. I shared it on YouTube, and a lot of people have complimented. Still to this day, they comment that they didn't know it existed either. So, even though it's in the manual, sometimes it helps to learn a different way.
Well, I have a different way of looking at that. Guys like you and me wouldn't be doing this and doing so well at it if the manuals were a little bit better. So manufacturers just keep screwing them up. We don't care.
Yeah, that's right. We'll interpret them, right? So,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Ed Joyce, good to see you. You're not too late. We're really just getting rolling. You just missed all the technical difficulties and fun. That's all. So glad to see you here. I'm looking through the comments. Orange is my new green. Said, good question, Purple Collar. What question did Purple Collar ask? Oh, here's a question from Purple Collar Life. With a shortage. Oh, we've talked about this before. It's tough to get stock. Do you think dealerships are offering more for used tractors on trade than normal? Well, I don't know. I would assume you might get more on a trade-in, and you're also going to pay more for a used tractor. But what do you think about that, Mike?
That is a great question. I don't know. I'm out of the day-to-day operation of the dealership. I still talk to them once in a while. But I would guess that used equipment values are going up, and possibly because of shortages, I would think possibly faster than new equipment prices have gone up. I feel bad. I haven't checked with my local dealer to find out how much of a price increase happened in 2021. Now, I'm sure you always have a price increase. Usually it's about 2 to 3%. But, steel's going up and input costs are going up. So, I would say, gosh, I got to think about that. That's a great question. I might do a video on that one.
There you go. That's perfect content for you. So, but to Chad's point here from Purple Collar Life, if you can find the inventory for a new tractor, maybe it is a good time to trade in. So, but the problem is, I guess inventory is low.
Yeah, it's awful. it's awful on everything. RVs are in short supply, boats are in short supply. The coronavirus did exactly the opposite of what most of us thought it would do. I guess because we travel so much, when we couldn't travel, we had money and we got on the internet and spent it or went to our local dealer. And so dealers had a year in 2020 that they were just bombarded with business.
Right.
And most people that sell anything had a good year in 2020. And it's kind of sad, certain parts of the economy are just devastated by this COVID mess. And in certain parts are doing better than they've ever done. And I don't know where it's going. I at some point, the supply and the demand's got to kind of level out, but it's got a ways to go. And so, yeah, inventories are in short supply. If you see a tractor that's been around, on the dealer's lot for a while, there's a reason for it. It could be an oddball model or something, but a lot of inventory got cleaned up. In that deal you edited together, and thank you for doing that. That was kind of
sure.
I've never had anybody do that before. Where I showed the tractor numbers for North America, those numbers are staggering.
That's right.
So there, and I've got a good buddy that's pretty high up in Kubota, and I was talking with him about where they thought they were a year ago now. Every company was having meetings saying, we're in trouble. We got to get less inventory. Nobody's going to buy anything this year. And they put the throttle way back. And then along about the 1st of May, here came the demand, and it's never let up.
Right. Yeah, like you said, people are staying home, so thinking, hey, let's get a tractor. Let's do our own gardens and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people moving from the inner city. I know real estate values and residency rates and big metropolitan areas have dropped as people are moving out to the country. If you had to stay home and you could be outside and do stuff on your own, it was no big deal. But if you had to stick in an apartment for several months, I don't know how people did that.
Yeah, that's rough. So there's a comment that in Canada they can't get the R14 tires. I heard they're hard to get everywhere. What do you think about those tires? We've talked about that a few times on some of the other live streams, and they're a cool looking tire, but I guess the verdict is still out on whether they're a better performer than the R4s or any other type tire.
Yeah, I like the looks of them like everybody else.
Yeah,
but,
they do look cool.
I think we've got a little time to find that out. The best trial for tractor tires. I was at a Coyote product introduction one time in North Carolina, and it rained an inch the night before the product introduction. And I wasn't the models of tractors that I looked at, but they had rented a John Deere to put in the field versus a Coyote the same size, and it was probably their biggest tractor at the time, maybe about 80 horse or somewhere in that range.
Right.
And the Coyote had R4 tires, and the Deere had R1s, the agricultural tires. And it was night and day different. I would have bet money the R1s, the ag tires, would have done better. And they did for about 20 minutes, and then they started digging ruts. Mm. And the R4 tires were kind of on top of the ground, and they still had traction with four-wheel drive. And the other tractor was doing this. And it made me a believer in R4s. And you would think that the R14s would be an improvement on that. So, but, we'll see.
Yeah. I've got the R4s, and I've been thrilled with them. I saw the R14s after I bought mine, and had a little remorse, like, darn, I wish I could have got those just because they look cool. But I've got no regrets with mine whatsoever. I know I didn't want the traditional ag tire. The what's that? The R1? You said
R1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but they just would probably tear up the ground a little more than I would want around here. So I've got no complaints at all. So let me look through the comments here, if there's anything else coming up here. And again, any questions for Mike? Certainly, again, if you are enjoying the live stream, hit the thumbs up button for us. If you're not familiar with Tractor Mike on YouTube, after the live stream, head over there and check out his extensive library of videos, and certainly subscribe to his channel because you will really enjoy it very much. All right, comments are going by here. We've got a lot of people on tonight. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, let's have some questions. Anybody got I always like to have people come out of their closet and with a question they thought was too dumb to ask, and we're among friends here. We're not going to make fun of anybody. So if you got a tractor question, and maybe I don't know, maybe you think it's a dumb question, and nobody knows. You don't want people to know you don't know, and none of the rest of us know either, and we could find out.
That's right. We help each other in these comments. Here's a long one from Kate. Let's see if that comes up on the screen. Her husband Tom has a question.
I don't know.
After bending the stabilizers, I know that we had Neil Messick on recently, and Messick has created some telescoping stabilizers for the BX series. I don't know if you've seen that. Mm-hmm. So they're nice, but why not standard equipment? I don't know. I guess maybe it's a matter of options. They want to say the next best thing, I guess.
That's one option that I totally agree ought to be on every tractor. There's lots of things I could do without, but the telescopic stabilizer is not one of them. So, I mean, that'd be a deal killer. If a tractor had every single other option on it I wanted and not that, I would bolt. And the bad thing about it, if you've got an older tractor, those are not readily available anywhere. You think, you could go to your local dealer and order a similar pair for a similar tractor, and I've not found that works very well.
Not a universal fit on those things.
Now they're different lengths, and they've got different hookups on the ends. And there was a guy in business. I don't know if any of your viewers remember, but there was a guy in business that was building them. And I've got a neighbor, Chuck, that's got an L3901 Kubota with the turnbuckles, and he was wanting to order the telescopic stabilizers. And this guy made them for an L3901, and he called him and he said, "I want to order them." And the guy said, "Well, I'm a year out."
Wow.
And
keep up.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he's still around. I may be wrong, but I think he might have cashed in. But
that was one of the deciding factors when I bought the B2601. I was looking at the L2501, which is it's a little larger frame tractor, but the B2601, I liked that it was just a little bit smaller, but it also had some fancy options that the L series didn't have. It had the rubber floor mat, which really I don't care about now, but at the time I was like, oh, that's nicer. It had the tilt steering wheel, which I never use, but it did have the telescoping stabilizers versus the turnbuckles, and I thought, well, that I can see that being really handy. So that and the phone charger, cigarette lighter, all those little things. Again, things I still haven't really used any of them, but I have used the telescoping stabilizers. But that was kind of a deciding factor. So who knows? Anyway, thank you, Kate and Tom, for the question. Really, really appreciate it, and glad you're here watching tonight. Yep, we've got some questions about dealerships being very helpful. Let's see. Going through here. So, yeah, Edward Joyce, Northern Illinois. Can't find anything in the dealers at all. That's tough. All right. Hey, tell me a little bit about this ebook that you wrote. When you wrote that, and is that? I know you're still offering it. Is that right?
Yeah, I thought as I was doing all the videos, if somebody was shopping for a tractor, and a lot of my stuff is about shopping, if they were shopping for a tractor, and actually my wife was the one that urged me to do it, to have all that stuff in one place where you could page by page by page kind of check off the things you need to be looking at and the things you need to be doing. And so, well, how hard can it be to write a book? So I started writing, and I'm a kind of a closet writer. My degree was in electronic media, and I've done agricultural writing, and so I didn't think it'd be any big deal, but it's a big deal. It's hard to write a book, and so I put everything I knew in one book, and I think it's like 80 pages or something like that, which that's everything I know. It only took 80 pages. That'll tell you something. But I put it in that book, and what I do, it's a marketing ploy. It's on my website for $29.95, and if you buy it, I'll give you $29.95 back if you purchase something over $250 on my website. And that's where I get most of my income, is my website. I sell stuff, and so that the book's on there too. But I tried to put everything in there I knew about. If I were starting out, and most of what I do comes from the real novice standpoint. I don't know a thing about tractors, and I'm trying to, like I said earlier, it'll be like me out trying to buy a helicopter. I don't know anything about it, and so
Right.
I think I got it figured out where most tractor people stand. When our kids were young, we wanted to buy a used boat, and my family, if you were having fun, you weren't working, and they didn't like that. But my family wanted a boat, and we lived close to Table Rock Lake in Southwest Missouri, and so my wife started shopping for a boat, and I'm like, well, how hard? What is there a boat? It's got a motor, Well, it turns out they're kind of complicated, and we found one that we liked, and it was cheap enough. And if it went to the bottom of Table Rock, I wasn't too concerned. And the guy that owned it found out I'd never run a boat, so he gave me a 20-minute. These are the trim tabs. This is this, and this is this. And my eyes roll back in my head. I'm like, I got about a 1/50th of that, and then out we go on the lake. And I'm like, okay, now I understand how the first-time tractor buyer feels, because there's so much terminology, so many phrases, terms that you don't know, and you're out shopping for something that's $20,000-$30,000, and you want to get something that's going to last and going to work for you. So I try to do everything on my website focused on that person that's moved to the country. The Craftsman lawnmower burned up after a year, and now they're out shopping for a tractor, and help them get what they really want. Because if you get the right thing, you'll never have to buy another one.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I know that a lot of my viewers are new tractor owners or first-time tractor owners, and I've been around tractors my whole life, but this B2601 is my first brand new tractor, so we're all kind of learning together with it. But there are a lot of new owners out there, and that's great. And there's some experienced owners as well, and we hear from them. You may get your share of hecklers. I don't know. I get a few now and then.
Yeah, about any time I share an opinion about something, I know what's coming, because I was trying to think what the one was the other day that I put out. I did something on, like which is better, flat face couplers or Pioneers, and you get. I did one. I've never been a really big fan of backhoes, and you either love them or you don't love them. And if you need one and you dig a lot, that's great. I live in the Ozarks where there's rock right under the ground and hard clay pan.
You're not getting too far.
You're not getting too far with a compact tractor and a backhoe, and we have people around here that buy them, and they've got a field full of stumps, and they're going to dig them out. And after spending an entire day on one stump and getting it out and having a hole the size of a swimming pool, the backhoe goes in the fence row and they're done. And I am the world's worst backhoe salesperson. And I did a video about, I'm not knocking you. If you have the backhoe and you love it, that's great. I wouldn't have one. And I had a guy this week, and I hope he's not one of your viewers, hope he's not too big, that went off on me. And he'd leave a comment, and then he'd go off and get madder, and then come back, leave another comment. He left 6 comments, and my wife Carmen reads my comments, and she's like, "I think this guy may show up at the door. He's really mad." So anyway,
you pushed his buttons for sure.
I pushed the backhoe button, man.
So I like the comment here from John Ritter. Tractor Mike sounds better than Helicopter Mike, but that would be an interesting channel.
Yeah.
Or Boat Mike.
I was talking to a guy that had a question a few weeks ago, and I was talking to him about tractors, and I said, it'd be like me buying a helicopter. He says, I was a helicopter pilot. And it turns out he was in the helicopter above OJ on the LA freeway.
Is that right?
Yeah. Interesting guy. So
following that long, low-speed chase, right?
Yeah, he said it's hard to keep a helicopter in the air at 15 miles an hour.
That's right.
Makes sense.
That's funny. That's funny. Let's see. Looking through some comments here. Yeah, another one from John Ritter there. He hardly uses his backhoe, but it's there when he needs it. And that's true. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
When you need it, you love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not get one with my tractor, mainly just because it was quite an expensive option. It was probably another $6,000 or more. And I know I'd use it if I had it, but I just couldn't really justify it. But I know it would be a great thing to have for sure. I saw a question early on. I don't know that if I can find it to put on the screen, but someone asked about Pat's Easy Hitch, and I know that I did a video on those. I don't have those, but I've watched several videos, and it really looks like a great system from what I see. But the question was, what you think about that, if they're worth adding to your tractor. What do you think, Mike?
If you change implements a lot, definitely. Yeah, they're not that expensive, and it's just, to those of you who don't know what Pat's Easy Change is, they go over your lower link arms, and it's like an eagle claw. You back up to the implement and you pick it up. You get under the pins and you pick it up, and it locks in place. And you still got to get out and do your top link. But if you're doing a PTO powered implement, you got to put that on. I sell them on my website, so I get paid to like them. But I grew up on an apple orchard, and we had an 8-foot bush hog brand heavy cutter. And my dad came real close to buying another tractor to leave hooked to that all the time because it was such a bearcat to get lined up and hooked up. Yeah. And the Pat's Easy Change would have made that a breeze. You could have gotten in and out of it easily. So I like that as a feature. After you get freight and everything, they'll run close to $240 or $50, but you only have to buy them once, and you can take them off and move them to the next tractor.
Right. And they give you a little more flexibility than a quick hitch because you have that adjustment, I think, in and out somewhat. So they look pretty neat. Hey, thanks, Edward Joyce, for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I did a video on the Harbor Freight quick hitch, and the more I use it, the more I like it. Again, a name brand quick hitch might be better, but I've got it adjusted right now, and it's a handy thing to have. Especially my rototiller is an absolute beast. I mean, I love it when I use it, but I was never so frustrated as trying to hook up that rototiller because it's so heavy and you just can't move it at all, and it was really a mess. So the quick hitch works great for that. I love it.
Yeah, that's a tiller's about next to a post hole digger, the hardest thing you'll ever attach to a small tractor in my.
Oh yeah. I don't have a post hole digger now, but I did with one of my old. I had a John Deere 2020 years ago, and I had a post hole digger for that. And that's right, it was pretty wonky getting that thing lined up and hooked up on there. It's a two-man job for sure.
Yeah, they're trying. The post hole digger's goal in life is to kill you. And if you don't get it on the first time, it can come after you.
Yeah. By the way, Edward Joyce, in addition to the super sticker, he noticed that my drinking bird isn't moving. I forgot to water him up. I was having a little bit of trouble tonight getting things going, and I missed watering the drinking bird. So thanks for noticing.
Hey, how you like my background?
It's beautiful. It's
perfect. We're talking about. I'm sure what's behind there.
It's the Johnny Carson curtain, the monochrome curtain, though.
Yeah. Yep.
So John Ritter bought a tiller, so that's good. You're going to love it, John. He'll be tilling up all the neighbors' yards this summer for sure.
Yeah, don't let them know you got it. You'll be at the neighbors all the time.
All the time. Well, I think John has made a career of helping his neighbors. Well, I don't know if you can make a career of helping people for free, but he's made his reputation for that. Anyway, there's Hobby Habits. Thanks for being here. Appreciate seeing you tonight. And M+J. Yeah, Chesapeake Cruiser would rather have a cab before a backhoe. I'm not sure. I think for my tractor, I would not want a cab unless it was factory and had air conditioning and heat. It would be nice in the wintertime, but I don't do a whole lot in the winter. If I lived in an area where we were snow blowing like GP Outdoors does, that would make sense. But for me, I don't think I'd want a cab. And in the summertime, it would just be really hot to be out running the tiller. I think anyway. I don't know. They have their pluses and minuses, I suppose. Have you made a video about cabs yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say if you're like I am, if you gave me a cab tractor, I'd take it. But I'm on and off the tractor seems like an awful lot.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of weird. I'm not I'm cold. I want summer's my time, and I want to be out. I like a canopy over the top, but
Yeah.
I don't like air conditioning. And my wife and I are diametrically opposite on that. A lot of times I'll go out and get on the tractor because I'm freezing in August. And but if you're a person that wants a cab, get a cab, because I've known, and I've said this a million times, a ton of people that wanted to get a cab the first time and didn't, that wish they would have. And I've never met anybody that got a cab that said, man, I wish I hadn't gotten a cab.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I do. Summertime is my time. The older I get, the more I hate winter. Luckily, I don't have to work out in all the time, but I just don't like it. I love a good summer day, and my wife makes fun of me. She says, "You're going to be one of those old men where people walk in and the house is 90 degrees."
At least, yeah. Same here. Well, maybe I'll come see you and we can just hang out.
We can hang out in the hot house. That's right. So, hey, I have a question for you, Mike. This has been an ongoing question that I don't think we ever got a good answer for, but in several of the live streams it's come up. Implement versus attachment.
Huh.
What's the difference? Is there a difference? How do you define an implement and an attachment? Putting them on the spot here tonight.
To me, they're about the same thing. I've never heard a definitive answer, but there's people that have strong feelings about the issue. To me, an implement is more something that goes on the back, and an attachment is kind of something that goes on the front. But I don't know. That's
yeah.
I don't know.
Let's settle it here tonight, because we've got Tractor Mike on with us, and let's agree that they're pretty universal. How about that?
I think they're interchangeable. I've always used them interchangeable. But
yeah.
When I think of an implement, I think of something on the back of a tractor.
Right.
And of course, to me, that's a term that's been around the farming world for a long time, is implement. Tractor and implement company. You saw that a lot of the old dealerships were named Fred's Implement.
Yeah.
So implement was a word that was thrown around, and of course that early tractors had no front end loaders, so that was something that went on the back of the tractor. An attachment, to me, when I think about it, an attachment could be for the back, but it's when my mind conjures up an attachment, it's something going on the front.
On the front. Well, here's what I think. Now, if I picture a little 2-bottom plow, to me, that's an implement. Mm-hmm. But my wood chipper seems like it's an attachment.
I'm with you.
It doesn't. A wood chipper doesn't sound like an implement to me. So,
yeah, if you call the plow an attachment, I'd make fun of you. And if you call a chipper an implement, so we know what they're not.
Right. It's just what it sounds right, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of terms thrown around in the tractor world that just kind of cease to make any sense after a while, and you don't know what's the real definition and who came up with it. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but there's lots of times I get asked a question about a simple term, and where'd that come from? I don't have a clue. Don't know.
Right. John says maybe to be considered an implement, it should be PTO powered, or it's just an attachment. And that's kind of opposite of what we said, though, John. We're saying that the wood chipper would be an attachment, and that's PTO powered. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
I don't think we're going to get that resolved tonight, but
nice. I'm going to look here. There's another question from Kate. See if we can pull this up, but it might be. I don't know if this is too technical. Oh, that's pretty deep there, Kate. Lawn tractor, 11 years. Aside from a few problems with the glide steer cables, it's been great. Just sips fuel. Is the question what's wrong with it, or why Kubota's no longer making diesel lawn tractors? Don't know. I haven't
loaded
seen a
in.
diesel lawn tractor, and I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a diesel lawn tractor.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Yeah, that's
Deere made them, and Kubota made them. Trying to think, I don't think anybody else did, but and the people that have them love them. I don't know. I'm a big zero turn fan. I go around a lot of obstacles, and I just get done a lot quicker with a zero turn. So I'm not a big, lawn and garden tractor fan. And the zero turn really kind of killed that product, because for less money, you can buy a zero turn and get your yard mowed faster. And the garden tractor with a diesel engine will last a lot longer. It's got longevity to it. They're great machines,
right.
but there's just not a lot of people that are looking for that type of machine anymore.
Yeah. So there you go, Kate. Next time, I guess, get a zero turn. And tell Tom to get his own Facebook account. I can say that to Kate. It's all right. And Tom. More questions. Oh, we got the whole implement attachment thread going on here now. That's funny.
I've got to get my glasses on. Are they fighting yet over that?
We're all just trying to figure it out. Yeah. I don't think there's really an answer here. I mentioned early on about Lamborghini making tractors. I'm sure you're aware of that. I believe they started out making tractors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's surprising to a lot of people. I was surprised the first time I heard it.
Yeah, they were a pretty major player in the early days. And when I worked for AGCO, if anybody's ever seen an AGCO Alice tractor, that was made by SLH, which is Sami Lamborghini Hurlimann, SLH out of Italy. And that's part of that family. And I think they're still making tractors. They have little niches where they're pretty popular. Italy, they're popular, and they make I think orchard tractors and specialty tractors. They're still around, but they're not a big presence in North America anymore.
Right. There's a question about a precision
manufacturing tree puller. Yep. Yeah. I love mine. I've got Precision Manufacturing is a little company up in Sedalia, Missouri that makes implements, and I've done videos on them, and they've got a tree puller that uses hydraulics to squeeze around the tree and lift it out of the ground.
Yeah.
I was actually out using it this weekend, and there's a lot of things it works really good on. You're not going to pull a 30-year-old hedge tree out of the ground, but I've got most of the bigger trees that I'm trying to control cut with a chainsaw, and the stuff I've got's that big or a little bigger. And in a fence row, you almost never have. It seems like all the trees and shrubs are small. They've been scattered there by the birds, and you can just put that thing under the fence and squeeze it up and pull it out, and it's gone. And so nice. I use mine. I would like to use mine more. Just it's a matter of time and getting out there, but it's a handy tool. Now, if you've got bigger trees, you may want a tree shear, and tree shears are nice. If I'd have had a tree shear when I started work on my place, I would have used it a bunch. But you still got that stump that you got to treat, and if you forget to treat it, it comes back. And with a tree puller, you can get most of the root system out. And I really do like mine.
So is this something that works with your third function valve that allows it to clamp onto the tree?
Yep.
So I don't know what Herbert Colley has for a machine, but I imagine you need a pretty significant tractor to make it worthwhile as well. Because I'm thinking that my B2601, which is a compact tractor, would not have much lifting capacity or pulling capacity. So
you got to have about a 40 horse tractor or bigger to make it justified. And of course, the bigger the tractor, the more you'll pull. I was corresponding with a guy today that's got one mounted on the 3-point, which I'm not sure who makes it, but he was talking about how it makes sense too. You got more lift capacity out the back.
Yeah.
Your engine offsets the pull, and he was telling me that I needed to do a video on that someday, and I may do it. But I like mine. I mean, if you're just trying to clean out fence rows, it's oh man, you clean out a mile of fence row in an afternoon. It's awesome.
That's nice. I love my grapple. I've cleaned up some hedgerows with that, but it doesn't really clamp down to grab things. You can use the claw, and you can, if you get like the vines tangled up in it, you can pull them, yank them out. But I can see where something like that would be great too, because a lot more precision when you want to grab something. With my grapple, I can't really be that precise with it.
I did get out this weekend and try something that didn't work, and I'm going to kind of revisit it again. The plant has to be a certain size before a tree puller will pull it without breaking it. And certain varieties of trees and shrubs, I'm fighting multiflora rose, grapevines, locust trees, Bradford pear trees. I did a video last week about my 10 least favorite noxious weeds.
I saw that. In fact, there's a comment here about that also from Herbert Colley.
and this works on most of them, but if they get too small, I let my pasture go this year because I had, when we bought the place, there was a whole bunch of autumn olive trees and Bradford pear, and they'd grown up pretty good. They were still where you could run a bush hog over them, but they were close to not being able to. And so I bush hogged them. And I mean, just, you kind of racket you get when you're trying to tear up something that's near the outer edge of what your bush hog can do. And I mean, you could hear me from town, beating up stuff. But it left a stump that sprouted out. And my idea with the tree puller was I was going to get under the stump and pull the whole stump out. And that did not work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm bush hogging again, and but it seems like the more you run over them, pretty soon they're starting to get a little weaker, and they're less as time goes on. But right. To really get rid of them, you got to use chemical. Yeah, and I'm cheap and a kind of a closet environmentalist. I'd rather not use chemical if I don't have to, and I don't think there's going to be any option in this case.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you farm your property, or do you have any livestock or anything, or just
horses?
Horses. What's
my wife and daughter decided that we needed to be in horses. My dad, I grew up on an apple orchard, and my dad farmed with horses. And when the last horse went to town and they got a tractor, he vowed he would never have a horse on his property again. And he wouldn't let his granddaughter on the property with a horse. And I share the same love for horses that he had, but I've got a family that loves them, and so we've got the three that are out in the field. They look pretty. It's like a picture when you look out there. But that's the only farming I do. I did that. I think I've come to the conclusion I'm lazy. If you have to do farming every day, it gets kind of a grind, and I'm just not cut out for it. But no, I just piddle around. I'm like everybody else. I'm trying to make the place look nice.
Yeah, hobby farmer.
Hobby farmer, and get out in the sun and get some exercise, and it's not making me a dime.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm sure you're enjoying your life. It's a great lifestyle for sure.
Absolutely.
And, you can't discount your mental and emotional health when you're out there and just enjoying nature it's just, I love being in the country. I grew up in the country, and it's where I always want to be. I love visiting the city, but love coming home to the country for sure.
I've got a daughter in Chicago, and I enjoy going to Chicago. There's a lot to do in Chicago. Driving is not one of the things I like to do in Chicago, but it's sure nice to get out of there.
Yeah.
And with the COVID thing is I think we all ought to just be so thankful we had someplace to go and something to do to kind of take our mind off that. And I think about those poor people cooped up in the apartments in inner city, and that'd be awful.
It's horrible to think about that and the amount of businesses that are affected. You think about Broadway, and you think about all the food businesses. It's really tough. So like you said earlier, some businesses flourished with this, and others it's tough. So we feel bad for them. Hey, thank you, Purple Collar Life, for the shout out there. You've added MCG TV as a repeating Monday night at 7 calendar reminder on Alexa. Very nice. I wasn't sure about continuing these on Monday nights. I've had people say Mondays may not be the best night, but I tend to get a good turnout, and I really appreciate that. So see what we can do. But
thank you for doing this. I like I told you when we were talking about this, I tried to do this, and I'm just not tech savvy enough. And the folks that are watching don't realize how much stress there is on the host when you're trying to do this, because there are a million things that could screw this up.
Yeah,
And,
as evidenced in the very beginning when I had that echo.
yeah, you're the only guy that really knew that was going on. The rest of us didn't know it, but but there's a lot of stress because you've got all these people depending on you. And I did this for a little while, and I couldn't figure the tech out, and half the time it didn't work, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you doing this.
It is a lot trying to look at the different screens and whatnot. It's that's why sometimes I feel like I look like I'm lost. Maybe I don't from your end, but you feel a little bit lost. And when you're reading the comments, it's like okay, awkward silence time because I can't read and talk at the same time.
Oh, you're doing good.
But
I say a question I'll ask: what tractors do you own yourself, Mike? I have a one tractor from each of the pasts. I have a Massey Ferguson 362, which is a utility tractor that my dad had. My dad passed away in 2007, and I'm an only child, so I got the family tractor. And then I've got a TC40 New Holland that I bought when I was at the dealership. It's a 2000 model. I don't have anything new. Everything I've got's old, but I wouldn't trade it for a new one. So I'm pretty happy. And those are the two tractors I've got. I've always kind of been a tractor guy, but I don't have a collection or anything like that. I've got some buddies that got one of everything, and that's cool. But
that New Holland's the one we see on your channel most, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's kind of my go-to tractor. It's hydro. Yeah. I'm kind of old and lazy. I would have made fun of me at a younger age. Driving a hydro. I was always a gear shift guy. Give me a manual transmission,
Right.
But the more I've got the hydro, the lazier I get. And I kind of like the heated seats in the SUV too. So I'm comfortable, I guess.
I love heated seats.
Yeah. Wish the tractor had that.
Right. A friend of mine suggested inventing that for a tractor. So maybe for some of the people who push snow in the wintertime, that'd be a good thing. So
I got a question for you. What would the perfect tractor have? What would it look like? What would it be? I think about, I just think someday that somebody's going to come out with a tractor that doesn't look like a tractor, that does everything a skid loader will do and everything a tractor will do better. And I just wonder how much we're married to the looks of, when you look at a new tractor, your tractor, my tractor, anybody's tractor, it's not all that different than an 8N Ford. They've not changed tractors. You still got that PTO to hook up that makes, it's hard to get under there or squat under there. Still got a 3-point. You still got the engine in the front where you got to look around it to see the front end loader. There's just lots of hate about a tractor. And some of these guys keep coming out with these, they look more like a wheel loader that they're trying to sell as a tractor. And I keep wondering when someday that might just catch on. You never know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm thinking I'm really happy with my tractor, but that's because that's what I'm used to. Maybe I don't even know what I'm missing. You're right though, the PTO is a real pain in the neck to hook up.
Yep.
In fact, my last video, I was over a friend's house and he borrowed my wood chipper on his new Kubota L3301. And I let him hook it up, and I even made a comment. It's nice to sit back and watch somebody else struggle with that for a change. It's just how it is.
Yeah, people, that's one thing, comments I get on the channel all the time. I'll have a new tractor owner, it's never been around tractors, and they can't get their mind around. Nobody's improved this since the 80 days. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, agriculture moves at a snail's pace when it comes to creature comforts.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas in the comments, that'd be great. So Tommy says square wheels. That'd be different, right?
It'd be a little rough riding, but it'd have good traction probably.
It would, right? At least every 90 degrees or have good traction, right? So let's see. M plus J would like a tractor that didn't ride like a three-wheeler. Well, you mean for stability reasons maybe, or that's always an issue with some of these smaller tractors. I know with my tractor, I think the improvement that I would like, I love the size of my tractor. The compact size never seems to be a problem. Of course, if you could put like a 40 horse in my little B2601, more lift capacity, that'd be great. But then in order to get that, you have to go to the next size, bigger frame and whatnot. So, but I think we always want more power and more capacity no matter what we have. Or if we have something too big, then we want something smaller that can fit in different places. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Ventrac, yes. There's people are
Question
talking about
about
Ventrac.
Ventrac, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Tractor Time.
different, right? They're quite different.
Yeah, they're great on hills. No doubt about that. They got the hill mowing killed, but I'm skeptical about the front end loader, how it works with the front end loader. But
Yeah, I don't think I've really looked at them that closely. I've seen lots of videos with them mowing and whatnot, but I didn't even realize they make a front end loader for those. And they're articulated, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting. So they don't make the old 3-wheel tractors. They've changed from that anymore, right? Remember the old ones with the single wheel in the middle, or the little the International Harvester H or M models that had the two front wheels like this.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's the first tractor I ever drove was an Oliver 70, and you could tip one of those things over so many different ways.
That seemed like a bad idea from the beginning, but for years they had them.
So. Yeah, good maneuverability. You could turn tight.
That's true. That's when you really liked having those independent back brakes.
Exactly. Yeah.
We talked about that on a recent live stream too, and I don't think I've ever used my independent brakes on my tractor. I've never had to turn that sharp with it.
No, me neither.
I wouldn't. For me, I don't need that. It would be fine if they did away with that in my world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some things have changed. I also mentioned in the past, I remember my neighbor growing up that when I was just a kid, I would hear outside my bedroom window, he had that old John Deere 2-cylinder tractor.
Poppin' Johnny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he'd be baling hay, and you just hear that thing putting by. So it was a distinct sound. Like it was hardly running, but he was just out there doing. I guess they had a big flywheel inside too, right?
Yep.
To keep things going. So there's been some changes. I saw this question earlier, and I think it's a good question, and especially a good one for you about shim kits for hydraulics. I was saying how we always like to have a little bit more capacity, but honestly, I'd be afraid to modify my hydraulics at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it could be fine. I honestly don't know. You're trying to make it something it's not. I'd be a little bit nervous about that. Maybe fine. Hydraulic pumps are expensive, and you can burn them up.
Yeah. Not to mention, if you increase the capacity, now you're putting more stress on your components, your cylinders. Many might know that I bent my front end loader, so that was one of my videos where I bent the loader. You increase your lift capacity, then you could be causing some damage. So,
yeah.
As fun as it would be to have more lift capacity, I'd be afraid to try it.
I see a couple of questions. Was I supposed to be answering questions on my own as time went on? I've kind of left that up to you. But
no, absolutely. Anything you want to pick out, for sure.
Electric tractors, school is still out on them. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm skeptical a little bit, but battery technology has come a long way, and we'll see. There's lots of people working on it. I saw the other day. There was a company now, I can't remember their name, Monarch, had an electrical tractor that came out with actually one of the better designs I feel like I've seen in electric tractors. And I saw the other day that CNH, Case New Holland, had bought an interest in that company. So everybody's thinking about it. AGCO's got a Fendt tractor that's electric. I'm sure Deere's working on it, Kubota, they're all working on it. Let's see, I saw another question there I wanted to I thought I did. Oh, pin-on attachments like forks or grapple. I assume you don't have a quick attach, and you want to drive the pins out on the bucket. There's people that make those. Yeah, there you go. They're kind of hard to find because most everybody's gone to quick attach. But I get paid for saying this. I sell quick attach adapters and conversions on my website, and if you've got a pin-on bucket, that's the best thing you could do for your tractor is to get one of those and make it quick attach. And so I would spend the money first to make my tractor quick attach, get a quick attach front bucket. And if you've got a pin-on bucket that's held in place by 4 pins, you can get quick attach for that on most tractors. The skid loader compatible. It's got the 2 levers and put that on your sounds like I'm shamelessly plugging my product, but it's the best thing you can do for your tractor. And
no, it's good to know. I can't imagine not having the quick attach, skid steer quick attach, because I've got the bucket, I've got the grapple. I change them out frequently. I don't have pallet forks yet, but I'd like to.
Yeah, you'll use them. That's my favorite attachment is a set of pallet forks.
I've heard that people love the pallet forks. So the grapple's my favorite, but maybe if I get pallet forks, I'd have a new favorite. That's possible. So yeah, with the electric tractors, that's interesting. I haven't seen anything on that. I'm not really following the industry like you are, but it's. I think so many of us are just old school. Like you want to hear that diesel engine, or I've seen electric dirt bikes, and it just doesn't seem right. To have an electric dirt bike that doesn't have that sound. Even when cars came out with these CVT automatic transmissions, I heard that some manufacturers had to put a false shift in there because people didn't like the smooth transmission. They were waiting for the shift, and it never happened. So they had to actually program a shift in there. So my wife's Subaru is a Crosstrek, and I think it has that transmission, but I think you can feel a bit of a shift as well. So
I've been in CVT powered cars where I felt the shift. I'm like, what just happened? That's not supposed to be there. So that explains something. I didn't realize.
I think it's just false. I think they put it in there. It's just programmed in there.
I'm curious how many of us, most of us, if you're like me, I spend the bulk of my time on the tractor brush hogging. And if we had the technology for the tractor to go out and do that without us on it, would we take it? I would. I like being outside, but I could find something else to do while the tractor's out. If you had an autonomous tractor with GPS and all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm the same way with my lawn. I mean, I used to love mowing the lawn. If we didn't have to do it, would we find something else we'd rather do? And I think we would. So I wonder, probably more so than the electric tractor, I wonder who's working on an autonomous tractor that's going to, you just tell it to go brush hog 20 acres and you tell it the coordinates and it goes out and does it. And if a turtle is moving in front of the brush hog, it knows it's there and it goes around it. And the technology is there. I'm more interested in that by far than the electric tractor.
Anything is possible these days. Things that seemed absolutely insane, we're seeing it now. So, and I know they're using GPS for crop work with tractors. So that no reason they couldn't do it more. And of course, they do have small autonomous battery operated lawnmowers, right? Like the size of a push mower, but I think Husqvarna makes something I've seen advertised.
Husqvarna, Steel's got one. Everybody's working on that, and I don't know where they're exactly where they need to be, but boy, that's going to happen. At some point. Do you really need to be on that zero turn? And where could that thing mow as far as a slope if it wasn't a top heavy human being on top of it?
That's true. You're throwing 200 pounds on top of it, and you're adding to that center of gravity. You're throwing it off.
So that fascinates me more than anything else is autonomy, and I think that's coming quicker than we know.
That GPS technology is something. In fact, that's one thing that Neil Messick was talking about was they have a GPS tracking option now for a lot of tractors. He was talking about an aftermarket add-on, but you can, if you have a rental fleet or if your tractor's stolen, you can GPS track it. So that's
absolutely
that's great. K&H misses the diesel smoke on the Tier 4 tractors. I don't know. My little B2601, that front end loader gets all black because it throws out a bunch of soot every time I start it. So
I was at a product introduction one time where they were right at the beginning phases of Tier 4, where they took a bed sheet and put it over the exhaust of a non-Tier 4 tractor. And I've always loved the smell of diesel smoke. I'm just like you, K&H. Until I saw what it does to your lungs, what that sheet looked like, and I'm like, I don't know. Not sure I like that anymore.
Yeah.
But
you won't be rolling coal, K&H, I guess, with your Tier 4.
Yep.
So, let's see. Yeah, Millennial Farmer. I think I've heard of that channel. I guess they do a lot of technology there.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
Interesting guy. sometimes what's going on in the background fascinates me more than anything, because he reminds me of a lot of the farmers I'm around. If you needed a cigar box, there's one somewhere there, that he can put his hands on, or you name a random piece of metal, he's got it.
He's got it. Yeah. That's funny. So, all right, let's look at the comments here. Folks, if you have any more questions for Mike, load them up now, because we're going to be wrapping up shortly. I don't like to keep people much more than an hour, and we're past 8 o'clock. But if you have any final questions, bring them on. Anything, Mike, that we haven't talked about that you want to talk to the viewers about? Anything going on in your world? You got any great plans for the summer? Anything new for the channel?
Oh, not really. I try to gear my channel based on viewer questions. I get a ton of emails from people, and to me, a lot of you guys have grown faster than me, and that's fine. I'm not in it to get thousands and thousands of people. I just want to answer questions from people that are getting started, and I the whole channel kind of runs by viewer questions. If I get a question from somebody, it's kind of funny. I'll get one asking me, like I got a question the other day. Every year, you really ought to, and that was mentioned earlier about the list of things you need to do to your tractor every year. You really ought to check there's a whole bunch of bolts on a tractor that you need to check the torque of, and like your roll bar is held on by big bolts, probably underneath the tractor, and there's so much vibration on a tractor, those bolts work loose, and your lug nuts, your lug bolts, and the bolts that hold the rim on the center section, you need to check those, at least once a year. Put a torque wrench on them. And I had two people that were trying to figure out how much torque to put on your drawbar bolts. That's another one. And your loader bolts. Your loader bolts are real important. Yeah. And guys, I'm going to tell you, every one of you, tomorrow or next time you're out your tractor, take a big torque wrench and check the torque on your loader bolts, because the guy putting that loader together, if they put it on at the dealership, is the bottom of the pecking order, and he's a high school or college kid on summer break when it's busy. And he may not have gotten every one of them tight. And if the loader falls off the tractor, that's not warranty. That's on you. And so anyway, long story to get to, I had two people in 2 days ask me, where do I find the torque on those bolts? And in my tractor, it's in the owner's manual, but their tractor, it's not in there. And why would the manufacturer not put that right? Check these bolts
right
every year, and here's how much torque you put on them. But a lot of those really heavy bolts like that hold the roll bar on, hold the loader on, you can put as much torque as you can physically put on them. And
yeah, you're not going to break them or strip them out. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You got more danger in them being loose than you have being too tight.
Yeah.
And if you go into a dealership, a guy takes air, and it's tight.
Yeah. I on my 50-hour service, I found several loose bolts on my loader. I mean, some were just, I think I could have loosened them up with my hand. So yeah, I was glad I went around and did that. And good reminder, though, with spring coming, I'll go out and retorque everything.
Yep.
So, hey, and you are in the Ozarks of Missouri, and you were, I believe you've lived there your entire life. I think you mentioned that on one of your videos. We have a question from Linda, just talking about the environment of where you live. What's it like out there? Is it, what are your summers and winters like? I'm not familiar with that part of the country too much.
Winters, we are right on the edge of where the Gulf moisture comes up and meets the Arctic air. And so we're kind of in a tornado prone area. We will get down to 0 occasionally, but not often. Your average day in January and February is a high of 35 to 40 and a low of 20 or lower. It can get colder. Summers are humid. We live around a lot of lakes, and it can get triple digits occasionally, but not normally. Normally your high is 97 or 98, which is perfect for me and Ed.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's I think it's pretty close to what Tennessee, Kentucky, climate. The thing that hits us is tornadoes. You get a cold Arctic mass meets the warm Gulf air, and boy, it's scary. And I grew up around it. We've had tornadoes all around us, and they're not like hurricanes. They don't wipe out entire huge areas, but they
kind of pinpoint areas, right? Yeah,
a lot of damage. Yeah. So Alabama got hit the other day, and that tornado was on the ground for a long, long time. It's kind of scary, but that's where I live. There's a rock. If you took a shovel and stabbed it down in the ground, you will hear it clink. And we got about that much topsoil.
I was going to say, not much topsoil, right?
And the glacial till was extremely unfriendly to us. And the Ozarks, Springfield, where I'm at right now, is on a plateau, and everything else kind of goes down from there. And that's more than you really want to know, but that's where I live.
So are your homes on slabs out there, or you don't have basements, I guess, or do you just find a place where you can blast through?
Actually, our house has a walkout basement, and we found our water wasn't draining. And I want to put drain tile in to get the water away from the roof. I'm kind of an expert on drainage because every place I've bought, I've had to deal with it. And I found the quicker you can get the backhoe out, the better off for everybody. And so I hired the backhoe to come out, and we found the rocks that they had blasted out of the ground, and they're as big as a Volkswagen with the holes where they put the dynamite down in them to build a house buried in the ground next to the foundation. And we dug those out, put drain tile in, and they were actually kind of pretty. So we set them out in front of the house, and we call our place the Big Rock Ranch because the big rocks are out front.
They're out front, nice.
But if you get started building and you hit limestone, it's going to be you're going to spend a lot of money to get that basement.
Yeah, that's rough. Now, I was born and raised here on the East Coast, and I'm not really a fan of the beach. My family, the sisters, everybody, they love going to the beach. We're about an hour from there. But, looking at the map of your area, I feel like if I were there, I might feel a little bit landlocked. Even though I'm not a fan of the beach, I just might feel a little landlocked. And I guess being born and raised there, you probably don't feel that way.
Well, you would. Yeah. You're definitely landlocked here.
Yeah, right.
So you're a lot of hours away from any coast.
Yeah.
But we have got a bunch of lakes around here, and it's a really scenic area, and it's pretty in the fall. We've got a lot of oak trees and a lot of pretty color in the fall.
Yeah. So, interesting.
I've never lived anywhere else, so I don't know any better, but it's kind of a nice place to live.
No, it certainly looks beautiful. The scenery in the videos that you have there looks like a great place to be. So, Mike, I really appreciate you being here tonight. Any final words for the viewers? I'll remind the viewers to hit the thumbs up. Check out Mike's channel, Tractor Mike, on YouTube. Go to AskTractorMike.com. Check out the website. You do sell products on there. I know you're trying not to be a salesperson here, but you sell products that are very useful. You're not just selling products to sell products. You're helping people out. And you have some really interesting things out there. So I would encourage people to check that out.
Every dealership's got probably 20 or 30 things that if the salesperson could come out and show you what it did, you'd say, "Oh, I got to have that." And that's the kind of stuff I like to put on my website, stuff that you may not see just everywhere else.
Right.
But
yeah, that's cool. Hey, before we wrap up, I almost forgot. One thing I've been doing the last few live streams is I mail people a few of my stickers, vinyl stickers that I had made. So with your help, we're going to ask folks a little question, and you can pick the winner, and I will mail the sticker to the winner. So I'm going to look up, see if I have a question here. I can't ask about where you live because we just talked about that. Any trivia from your channel that we can think of that maybe we talked about or that people might know? I got one, unless you do.
I'm blank.
Okay. First person to answer the question, what kind of tractor does Tractor Mike have? He talked about it just a little while ago. I think he has a couple, but Mike, look for the first answer you see, and let me know who can answer what kind of tractor Tractor Mike has. We'll wait for that to come in any moment now. And who will be... Now, if you won in the past, please don't answer the question because we want somebody else to win. So
I do this in class so that
So
Oh man, that's close.
Who do you
That's the
see?
360 is real close. It's a 362. So who was
So-
that? That's your answer there.
Which one do you see?
Orange is my new green.
You're going to give it to Orange as my new green?
That's close enough.
All right.
You've got a million models, and you got darn close, man.
All right. Congratulations, Orange is the new green. You are going to win these stickers. So what I need you to do is send me an email at contactmcgtv@gmail.com. Tell me what the question was. Tell me what the answer was, and that you won tonight's trivia. And I will send you 3 of these vinyl stickers. You can stick them on your car. You can stick them on your truck. You can stick them on your tractor. Anything that adhesive will stick to, you can. So send me that email, and I will mail these out to you right away. So that's fun. I'm glad I remembered that, because I would feel bad if I went the whole night and would have forgotten that. So again, congratulations for that. Mike, again, really, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you agreeing to being here tonight.
Oh, thank you.
It was so fun talking to you. And I think the viewers got a real kick out of it, so I hope we'll have you back sometime. One thing we did recently, or one of the live streams, is I had a number of people on the screen at the same time. We had John Ritter back on, and Jack from Mindful Homestead. Some of my past guests, Tony's Tractor Adventure was on, and I know he mentioned he met you at one of the farm shows.
Louisville, yep.
And Hank from Hamiltonville also mentioned that he met you, and everybody's complimentary about what a nice guy Mike is, and we've seen that here tonight for sure. So anyway, maybe we'll have you back sometime and join some of the other guys and have a live chat with a group there.
And Ed, thank you for what you do. Again, I want to let your viewers know what how hard a thing this is for you to do. So thank you for doing that, Ed.
I appreciate it. What a great time. Well, listen, Mike, you have a good night. Enjoy the summer heat as it comes on soon.
Bring it on.
We look forward to chatting with you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, and go check out Tractor Mike.